it's really important because it affects other people. We're not private about our own self. It's sort of Mahar, who is 365 days, would like everybody to watch their privacy. But, you know, I'm not totally doom and gloom. So upstairs, and it's also how we read and how we see things. So a number of years ago, I was over on Toronto Island, and I used to, in the winter, and I used to go to this pond, and there were only 2 swans on it. But the Porter Air flights went over me all the time, so Coast, because I'd been signing petitions, decided that the reason there were no other waterfowl there was because of Porter Air. Obviously, it was their fault. Actual fact, no. So also how we read. These mute swans who were brought here in the 1700s are totally invasive. And very shortly, they're being watched, but very shortly, we might not see any trumpet swans because they're putting them off their path and off their feeding path because they take over so much. You know, invasive species have all sorts of effect. But the birds, I like to go down to Leslie Street Spit, and in my imagination I see this warbler. Of course I don't see it, but it's been coming back for 10 years, same little warbler, thousands and thousands of miles. And it reminds me then of the refugees, the migrants who travel thousands and thousands of miles, which is quite amazing. And they're not doing that for a low-paying job, but for hope, for life. But there's the other thing, you know, one time Sandy asked me what influenced me, and there's all sorts of the many, many things. But when I'm awake in the middle of the night, I like to read poetry, and it has a real influence on my life. So, not to rant at you anymore, I thought I would read one of my favourite poems at the moment by an Irish poet, Nicky Griffin, a woman poet, and it's called Unbelonging. The black bamboo I planted is thrashing about as though trying to uproot itself, return to the native land or get warm in this cold, damp country. Perhaps it has bamboo memory, a form of collective consciousness from subtropical China, rooted beside my pond in slow growth, difficult to dislodge now, so keenly settled, though not invasive, not spreading unwanted as others have, but acting with discretion as an outsider must, when seeking to assimilate. I tried to root myself as fast as the bamboo, but everything was too shallow. It was a hard place to get a grip. It was hard to get a grip in a place where family history defines who you are. I was thrashing about, afraid to speak, a foreigner without the forgiveness of being exotic. It wasn't the land that didn't forgive. The rules of growth were the same as before. Chaffinches sang the same songs, trees sprung the same leaves. Silently I planted a garden in the hungry earth, but it was 13 years before I found my voice in the patterns of a poem, named myself through acceptance of unbelonging. I hope you like the show.